Hey y'all, hey, we are back for another review of Sisters on BET, Season 2, Episode 2. So let's just jump right into it. Alright, so Zach and where we left off, Zach and Preacher Dude, Aaron, but he's gonna be Preacher Dude to me, were showing up to Sabrina's house to confront Karen. And Zach confronts Karen and basically tells her that, he's been left holding the bag in most of these situations, even though she prefers Aaron to Zach. And I definitely agree with him. Karen is in this place where she doesn't appreciate what Zach has put her through. She can't let it go, but she still wants to have him. She also appreciates whatever she wasn't getting from Zach, she has been getting from Aaron, and she appreciates that as well. But there's love on both sides of the coin, so she's torn. But I feel where Zach is coming from. Like, I'm doing everything to prove myself to you. I'm doing everything to make this thing work. But you're still choosing Aaron. And like Zach said last episode, everything is, well, not everything. I ain't gonna say everything, but a lot of these things are Aaron's fault. He's always meaning well. I mean, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. That's a statement because, yeah, you mean well, but shit always goes awry. So I definitely understand him. And, he's kind of fed up. He's gotten shot. He's cleaning up his own blood. He's bringing her clothes, all these things, but she still wants Aaron. So he's like, you know what? I realized that you're always going to pick him over me, so I'm good. Don't even worry about it. Let me turn this light down a little bit because all y'all see is this ring light in my glasses. It's going to be all right because I didn't feel like putting no contacts in today. So it is what it is. I'm blind as a bat and I need glasses. Okay? All right, cool. All right, so yeah, he's done, and frankly, I agree with him. And then he tells Danny, like, I'm done with her. Let's go. And Danny's looking like, who finna go where? And he's like, I'm staying at your house. Don't start the shit with me today. Basically, having to put his foot down on Danny. Like, okay, I'm done talking about it. I'm done with her. I'm finna go. But where you finna go? To my house. And Danny's confused and confuddled and all these things. And she like, okay, but only to come get your little bit of shit, your garbage bag full of stuff at my house. But you can't stay with me, bro. You can't stay with me, bro. You can't. Sorry. So, as he leaves, Aaron claims that he wants to hash things out eventually with Zach. He's telling him, hey man, eventually we'll hash everything out. And Zach's like, boy, please. My question is, what the fuck do you owe Zach? Like, what do y'all have to work out? It is just the decision that Karen has to make. Y'all don't have any ties or any obligations to each other, but I guess maybe that's a man thing and that's a man conversation y'all need to have. But there's nothing to really hash out with Zach. Whoever the best man is gonna win in that situation. So yeah. All right, moving on. Aaron and Karen, Preacher Dude and Karen are talking, and he claims that he is so upset right now. He's still upset about the fact that his brother-in-law tried to kill Karen and that his wife killed himself, and that all he wants to do is drink, smoke, and have sex. He don't care nothing about being a preacher at this moment, and he want to do everything ungodlike, and he won't do it with Karen. And then he goes on to say something that is alarming to me, because he goes on to say to Karen, hey, and he always seems to say this, like when he's in a bad space, he always puts the burden on Karen of, hey, I enjoy how you saved me. And to me, that became a sense of mind control, because she doesn't want you to forego all of your pastorship. And so she'll do anything to make sure you don't do those things. And that was evident last season when you kept saying, I don't care about anything and I want to drink and da-da-da-da. And she saved you. So now that's going to be your saving grace in staying in her good graces, or getting her to soften herself to you, because she has to save you. She doesn't want to be the reason why a preacher, falls off the wagon. Now, me personally, I don't give a good goddamn. If you want to drink, you want to do all these things, you grown. I can't save you. You got to want to save yourself, big dog. So that always softens her, I've noticed. So a little bit of manipulation going on there, so I don't know how that is going to come into fruition in the following episodes, but I did pick up on that. He keeps wanting her to save him. So save yourself, because we can't both drown together. Okay? All right. So He invites her to a hotel, gives her a hotel key, and he'll be waiting, whether she decides to come or not. He'll be there. We know she's gonna show up. All right. So, Andy says that Aaron, preacher dude, reminds her of Paris. Now, Paris, this is our segue to bring Paris back into the fold. Paris is the guy. So there was I don't remember her occupation or her title, but she works at the law firm. I think she was like a housekeeper at the law firm Andy used to work at. And remember, she had like a heart attack or something, and her son kind of was thankful to Andy for getting his mom to the hospital. So Paris is Andy's ex-co-worker's son. She's an older black lady. And so we're introducing him back in by way of her saying that Aaron reminds her of Paris, which is co-worker's son. And she claims she tells Karen that, hey, I'm gonna hit him up after all this is over, blah blah blah. I don't believe it for a damn second, minute, hour, but if you say so. She's claimed she's gonna hit him up after everything, the whole mess with Gary is sorted out. Okay, girl, we'll stay tuned and see if that ever happens. All right, so Hayden is the black lawyer from the law firm that Andy used to work at. He stops at Sabrina's house to talk to Andy. She pours him some wine and gets into the details. And he seems a little standoffish, but I think picked up last episode where he was telling Fatima, like, I hope she's worth it, as if there's some kind of discussion of him actually wanting to end up with Andy, because he's, giving her the full up and down look. The real, you look like a Kit Kat and I'm hungry type situation. But, so, we'll see how that goes as well. All right. So Danny and Zach are back at her place and she's trying to get him to leave. Like, okay, you got to go, because while she was out, Cowboy has figured out a way to get to her apartment. He has made dinner. He's done all these good, nice, wholesome, romantical things. I know it's not a word. Is romantical a word? I don't know. Probably. He's done all of these romantical things, and she was like, okay, you definitely can't stay here now, because my man done broke in my house and did all these good romantical things, and you gotta go. And Cowboy has a little soft spot for Zach, because he's almost died and he's hurting and he just wants to take a shower. So he tells him, man, go ahead and take a shower. So he goes in the back and takes a shower. So Cowboy lets him take a shower, and Danny wants to know, how did you get into my apartment? Let's start there. I mean, this is nice and cute and all, but how'd you get into my house, big dog? How you get in there? Well, he says that the landlord let him in, and Danny says this is some of the most sensible thing that Danny has said this season. She said, oh, what a privilege it is to be white, or something to that effect. And I don't normally agree with Danny, but I was like, exactly. Like, to be white and privileged. We ain't even gonna get into the whole that sort of privilege in America type situation, because we'll be here all day. But what I will say is correct, because had Zach wanted to talk to the landlord to get into Karen's apartment, he would have been quickly ushered to the police department. Fact is fact. But this good old cowboy white boy just needs to get into his lowly girlfriend's apartment to do her a grand gesture. So the landlord didn't ask no second questions. That was just just a microcosm, just a minor example of said white privilege. Interesting. That's all I got on that. All right. So this is where I lose Danny again, because she then in the next breath she says, hey, Cowboy, we going a little bit too fast. Let's slow it down a little. And he's like, wait a minute. You the one that just handcuffed me to your bed last episode. So, Danny, you're confusing me, and things going to have to start going my way or the highway, because you're confused and you don't really know what you want to do. So, what we doing? Basically, it's kind of what he said to her. And I agree. Are you in or out? Like, you double dutching? Like, what we doing? What we doing? And so she don't have no rebuttal. I guess she's kind of realized, like, what he's saying does make sense. So she was quiet, and now they eating dinner. All right, so moving right along. Karen goes to her shop, her beauty shop. I'm assuming she's the owner. And there's another girl called Pam that's there that's, surprised to see her at the shop and asking her what happened, even though she already knows everything that's happening. And she lets her know, since you know everything, then I don't really need to answer these questions. And that's the end of said scene. So we introduce a messy coworker, Miss Pam, in this scene. Miss Pam's going to be important in a minute. Hold on. I'll get back to that. So, Danny wants to know what's taking so long for Zach to get out the shower. And while they're sitting there talking, Cowboy tells her, we come to learn that Cowboy's family is racist. Cowboy's family is racist. Now, mind you, Cowboy's sister is the one that saw Danny at the airport, and they saw her at the airport, and she was telling, well, not she, but he was telling her he likes her, and his sister told him, you should go talk to her or whatnot, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, where's your sister racist as well? She was like, no, not my sister, but my grandma, my mom, my sister, my aunt, my cousin, my great-granddaddy, the dog, everything. Everybody else is racist, and they would not be bothered with the fact that he is at this black lady's house dicking her down at this current injunction. Okay? All right? You got that? Okay, cool. So, and we got this realization because Danny was talking about Zach and she used the word nigga, and he, trying to low-key chastise her, like, don't use that word, I don't like that word, my family's racist. So, okay, yeah, you don't like the word because your family has used it in a negative consequence when talking about people that look like me. Got it? Cool. But then she goes, oh, okay. Oh, they're racist. So when you going to introduce me to them? Like, when we going over there? And he was like, you know what? That's not important right now. And his family would trip, knowing he was even talking to her. And he'll tell them when the time is right, but that's not important right now. So, who you are spending a great deal of your free time with is not important to your family lineage? I vehemently disagree, because let's just say you and Danny, end up talking for months, and then months turn into years, and then years turn into the natural progression of things. Babies, no, okay, engagement, marriage, babies, whatever the order is that thing's happening. Are you then going to forgo blackness or your family? Because you would have had to make a decision if things continue to go further. Now, I'm not saying you need to introduce her at this current stage of the game, but it's something you need to consider. You're going to have to consider the fact of, you could come to a crossroads where, do I choose my family, or do I create a family with someone that my family don't like? Because, I've seen it happen in personal friendships and relationships that I know, where people don't have a relationship with their family of lineage because they're racist. So they're not going to see your kids. They're not going to be at holidays. All these types of things. Is that something you're going to be willing to give up, Cowboy? Huh? Okay. That's just a little question for the people in the back that don't never want their family to know that they're dating a black girl. Even though you got babies with a black girl. You screw all the black girls. You're taking black culture. All right, I digress. So that was interesting, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the next seasons as well, because I know Danny and she will be the type to just show up to her family's house without you and figure out, so who don't like black people and who want to talk to me about it. Okay, cool. All right, so he don't want to talk about it right now. Zach is on the way out and he wants to play child. Whatever. All right, so Hayden tells, going back over to Sabrina. I cannot speak. Going back over to Sabrina's, and Hayden tells her that she's going to be fine and that she just needs to gather evidence and fight. She needs to gather evidence on her old supervisor, because he is probably in cohorts with whatever's going on against, whatever's going on against Gary. So he leaves. Sabrina comes back in, and Andy asks Sabrina if she is stupid. And she tells Andy, like, you're not stupid. You're one of the smartest people that I know. And I agree, and I disagree with this statement. So, yes, Andy, you are, what my grandma used to say, well, what my grandma would say, because she not dead, that's why I can't say used to say. But what my grandma would say to us is, you're book smarts, but you have no common sense. You have no street smarts. You got the book knowledge, but the practical applications, the things, the deductive reasoning, the things that we need to be productive citizens out here, you ain't really got it. And you really, even with the detective that offered you a ride, hell, within an hour of your whole life falling apart, you were jumping in the car with the guy. And I get it. It was very traumatic and you needed to ride home. But for me, I wasn't getting in the car with nobody. I just felt like, okay, you taping me like everybody was out to get me after all that shit had went down. And especially since when he showed me the pictures of me and Gary on dates and out and doing all of these other things, even though we were careful not to get caught. Oh no, baby. No. Nobody is gonna be trusted at this current injunction. Now that's just it. So she's very a little gullible in my opinion. So not stupid. Stupid may not be an accurate description, but gullible, definitely. Absolutely. And especially when it comes to a man, because Sabrina keeps hinting at a domestic violence type situation that happened when they were in college, and she keeps reminding her like, you weren't going to be back in that situation, like just keeping it to her forefront, like, all right, let's use some historical, references when we get with these dudes, like, let's just be cool about it. So yeah. However, what was also good about the scene when they were talking about the woes of life and all the, a lot of the trials and triumphs that the trials and tribulations that they went through, at the end of it all, they were like, it's tough, it's cool, but I still love being a black woman. I was like, y'all better do it. Y'all better do it. Like, this shit dangerous. This shit get hard at times. But it's lit and it's worth it. So at the end of it, it was just like a little message of shit might get thick, you know what I'm saying? But we still black and this shit still lit and they still gonna bite out for us, you know what I mean? I just thought it was cool, like, for them to just put that little message in there. Like, all right, shit's tough, but I still appreciate being black. Appreciate you, Tyler. Shout out to you. All right. And as Sabrina is thinking over everything, she thinks that they might also be setting him up, just kind of thinking over the whole last few days and how everything's going on. We'll figure out when, why, and how. Whatever. So that further confirms what Andy thinks as well, and she's going to try to get Fatima to get in touch with Leslie to see what we can figure out. All right. Moving on. So Andy calls Fatima to tell her, I need to get in touch with Leslie. I don't want to call her. Just set up a time so I can meet with her and talk to her. All right. As she's doing that, Fatima's talking on the phone. She doesn't realize that somebody's in the car, a pedestrian's in the road, and she hits them. It is a bicycle. This bicycle rider is Zach. He done got hit by a car. Instead of worrying about his internal injuries and his destroyed bicycle, he talking about she fine. He's just checking out her shape or whatever. Whatever, child. The bike is done for, so he just walked away. And then she called Andy to tell her, I'm gonna go and set up the meeting, but I didn't hit somebody, but they all right, I think. Yeah, all right. So, moving on. Zach gets to his meeting, Fatima walks in, and, she gives some information telling him, just stay here. At least let me replace your bike. Let me give you a ride home. Blah, 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 blah. Then he gets more information as to why he's there. And she tells him, like, you're lucky to be here. They don't let a whole lot of people in. And it looks like they seem to be, like, flipping houses, like, taken to the next level. Like, flipping houses combined with buy back the block, combined with community service, combined with helping convictions rates stay low, helping reoffenders stay out of jail. Like, it was a whole concoction of things that they were doing, and I was here for it. Okay? So what happens is they flip houses. And if you don't have the capital to invest in these houses, you put in what they call sweat equity. Sweat equity, in essence, is community service. You commit yourself to 80 hours per house to get in and, do the manual labor, help get this house off the ground. Well, what happens is your sweat equity also turns into cash. Don't remember the dollar value, but it was a couple thousands of dollars. If you don't have the money, if you don't have the initial money to invest like some people would do in flipping houses, you would pay your way in hours in community service. And then the sweat equity converts to cash. And then after the house is completely built and sold, you also make money on that end. And I thought this was a genius idea. And I was like, well, why hasn't nobody thought of this before? And maybe it does exist, but that's cool. Like Habitat for Humanity, y'all ain't giving me no money for my hours because I done did it before. But that was cool. It was like a buy black the block type situation because it was only, it was mostly black dudes at the situation or whatever. So I thought that was really cool. And and Zach's just asking good questions like, what if I ain't got no money? What if I ain't got this? What if I can't do that? What if I'm working a full-time job? And he's telling basically it's a sacrifice you got to be willing to make. If you want to be a part of the money team, you got to put the work in. You got to work that out within yourself, my friend. So that was cool. That was cool also. What was also just upsetting to my spirit man, like, all right, it was cool, down back the block, helping convicts, but it's always got to be a token white dude, and he on the front row. We can't have shit. All right, cool, whatever. Moving on. So little Miss Pam from Karen's hair shop, she calls Zach and tells her, I know you taking Karen out. Do you need some money? Because it's a really nice hotel, and I know y'all in room 1203 or whatever the room number is. And, I know you can't afford it, so I went ahead and sent some champagne and some roses to the room, and you just give me my money back and you get it. And Zach is like, what? But he's like, oh, okay, thank you, appreciate it. But obviously she's not going on a date with Zach. She's going to the hotel with Preacher Dude. So he's like, all right, cool, bet. Like, basically, I'm about to go fuck shit up at this point. But sir, you had just proclaimed that you were done, so where you going? Mind your business, sir. That's not your business. But whatever. So she done gave Zach all the information by accident, on purpose, by way of not minding her goddamn business, basically. All right, so Fatima is like, all right, the meeting's over, I'm gonna go. I know I broke your bike, I know I'm gonna replace it, but can I give you a ride the way you need to be? And he's just got an ego about it, just got an attitude. And she was like, all right, listen, my feet hurting, I'm ready to go home. So either you gonna catch this ride or you gonna walk. And he was like, all right, I catch the ride. But he was like, I'm not going home. I want you to take me to drop me by this hotel. All right, cool. So she take him to the fancy smashy hotel, to be continued on that one. And then, meanwhile, Karen has gotten to the hotel and Sister flat on that wig. She done got herself together. She done got her little boom boom pow situation going on with her dress. And she over here, she uncomfortable, but she here with the preacher dude to see what he talking about. He showed up, he ain't got no shirt on, child, passed about drunk, and he just want to get the shit going. And she went through all of that, getting judged up or whatever, but she don't want the pastor to escape his problems by jumping her bones and drinking and doing whatever else. Somehow or another, preacher dude has been able to sweet talk her out of her reservations, and it's getting hot and it's getting heavy, baby. It's getting real finna go down, real, about to knock these walls down. And I know Zach is on the way, so we'll see what happens in the next episode. So that's been it. I tried to keep it short, but I couldn't. I just had a lot to say, and I've also had wine, so mind your business. All right, so that is it for season 2, episode 2 of Tyler Perry's Sistas on BET, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever you feel like doing, child. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.